Welcome back to the She Can channel, where we interview women from all walks of life about their story, how they got to where they are today. And today we're interviewing Rachel Verghis. Rachel, it's great to have you on finally on She Can. Tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me. I must say it's a long time coming to get to this point. Okay, I'm an ex-banker. I'm a single mom, and I decided I had Louis, my precious Louis, when I was 40, and I decided to stop working. And for sort of a period of 2 to 3 years, I struggled. I think, when you have a 20-year career and then suddenly all you're doing is pureeing pears and storybooks. I didn't want to admit that to myself, that I really needed something to do. So I started a phone case company, which was so much fun, but failed spectacularly because I was producing in China, and with all that came with that, I did phone cases for Ai Weiwei and lots of fashion designers here, Henry Hudson. I did so many fantastic Melissa Odebash, etc. But that was a difficult business. It was so rewarding to get my brain working again, which was fantastic. And I think I actually ended up being a better mother for that. And people always say that. And then after it failed, I took another year or two off, and COVID hit. And then I decided to do another business, and that is Margin, my gin company. And that's where we are today.
Rachel, tell us a little bit more about this journey with margin, because it's a fantastically delicious gin. You're
Thank you.
definitely operating a sort of male-dominated area in
Yeah.
spirits. And so tell us a little bit about your journey in setting up this brand.
Okay, it's a brilliant question, actually, and really a lot of fun. COVID, we were all stuck. I missed the window to go back to Australia, which is where I'm from. So I thought, what can I do? I saw an article of an artist who did. He wanted to capture the smell of money in as a sort of commentary of the monetization of the art world. And I remember at the time they were talking about not us having any more physical currency here. Do you remember, because of COVID and touching? And I thought, what if my son had never seen, or growing up, an actual £5 note or £10 note? So how can I capture the physical currency, the UK British currency, in something? I'm a big gin drinker, and I thought, why don't I do it in gin? So it was twofold. It got me out of the house. A friend had a distillery up in Edinburgh. I was running up and down during COVID making this gin. Now, I wanted to make a sipping gin, something that captured the smell of a crisp new dollar bill, and something very, very tasty to drink without tonic, almost like a martini gin. So that's what I did. Went up and down, made this gin, thought, fantastic. Now what? And here's where the now what is. And I want you to ask me about the sexism in the alcohol industry, which is extraordinary.
Rachel, I love that you touch upon that, because, of course, I interview many women who work or operate or live in a very male-dominated world, and it's absolutely up to you how much or how little you want to talk about that. But I think it's really something where these stereotypes still uh, demand our attention, and we need to change things. So tell us a little bit more about you being a woman in the alcohol business, in the spirit world.
Yes, and this was an eye-opening shock. Being in banking, where I think the glass ceiling has somewhat cracked, I think, and I didn't really feel like I was female in a banking role. However, I can tell you, in the alcohol business, I think I am treated somewhere between a vodka shop girl and maybe a grandmother, underwriting her grandson's, bathroom gin project or something. I am certainly not taken seriously in any way, shape, or form. So I fight this constantly. I have a wonderful team now, which, I have to say I have worked very hard to collate about 12 people. But prior to that, I felt I was constantly being either gaslit or mansplained. And I do, this goes just daily. It has been a learning curve. The gin is taking off. I have found a really good sweet spot between sort of art my passion for contemporary art. The gin itself was a homage to the old English white fiver. And, we have found a really willing, receptive, fantastic, supportive audience that is taking off. And my daily fight, I think, is still continuing, but it is something we can do. Yes, there are no women in this business, really, not that I've seen. Yeah.
Rachel, thank you so much for being so honest and for talking about it so freely, because you will inspire another woman to go for it.
Yes, I hope so. We need more.
Rachel, what top qualities do you think you have that make you good at what you do and keep you fighting every day to advance in the direction that you need to take your brand in?
It's a good one, actually, because I did think you might ask me that. And I was sort of thinking, what do I have, I think, in abundance more than anything? And I think the one quality is getting up after you've been hit and falling down. Like, I never seem, I mean, I go through a period where I think, God, that was just devastating and I want to give up. But it goes very quickly. And I think what that is I've always been sort of fairly optimistic person. And I kind of vibrate at quite a high, generally happy level, no matter what. And I've had quite a lot of setbacks in my life. And I bounce back. And I think bouncing back has been my one quality, that I don't necessarily have, this sort of, well, I have failed, but I'm not really going to give up. This quality has helped, I think, and that has helped. Sometimes maybe to my detriment, because there are things that I really should stop, maybe a bit earlier than I should have. But yeah, that I think.
I think we all have those ones as well.
No,
Rachel,
100%.
what are you most proud of to date?
To date. I decided to have a child quite late in life. And because at the time I didn't have a man in my life, the decision was to go it alone. And I think that bit was, to me now, when I look back, I think it was probably kind of the bravest thing I ever did. At the time, it was something I really just was so completely determined to do that I was, so having Louis, I was 40 years old. He's 13 years this year, 13 years old. And doing it pretty much on my own has been, I think, the bravest thing I've ever done, the thing I'm most proud of. But perhaps also having a banking career beforehand, and now, in my 50s, trying to be an entrepreneur. I'm quite proud of this too. God, I hope I don't fail. But it's something that I really do, like I do think it is one of my proud moments. Yeah.
Rachel, so much to be proud of and so courageous and stepping out in your 50s and being an entrepreneur. I hear you.
Yes.
Rachel, what top tips would you give to a girl who's thinking of going into a male-dominated area? What tips would you give her to go for it?
I'll answer that question and another one in that sort of similar vein. I think I've never, I'm keenly aware I'm female, but not when I'm doing business, if that makes any sense. When I go into a room or I go into a project or I go into a venture, anything, I feel deep down I am equal to whoever's there. I think if this person can teach me something, it's something I want to learn. If there's something I can contribute to this conversation or to this business, etc. I've never felt that I'm less than in any way when I walk into a room. That has been something inherently I've had. And I think if you can fake that, at least for the beginning, you'll start to believe it yourself, after a while. I have had times when I have had to fake it a little bit, but I generally do believe that I can do something, not until it fails. But, I certainly do it with real conviction. But the one thing I did want to add on that too, there are a lot of women who, have sort of made the decision not to have children because they haven't had the right person come along. And I do respect when do people have made that decision, thinking it'd be nicer to bring a child into into a family with a male, and I'm raising a son too, so it's also doubly concerning sometimes. But it's the one thing that I have never ever regretted. It's never the right time, and you will never have the right help, and it will be extremely difficult, but it is the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So be brave in that too. Fake that till you make that too.
Oh,
Being a mom. Does that
Rachel,
make
thank you for saying that. That's
yeah.
really great to
Yeah.
admit and to put it out there, because there is a lot of women in your situation
Yes.
thinking about that, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But I think it's very important to see those role models who have done it and
Yeah.
who are saying this is the best thing I've ever done, and you go for it.
Yes. Yeah. No, definitely. Because I think a lot of women in my position who put careers first and suddenly found themselves in their sort of late 30s and early 40s, and there you go, you've missed your chance. I think just do it.
Yeah,
I really just don't think about it. You will never regret it.
yeah.
And I think that's definitely been my
Yeah,
experience.
beautiful. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Thank you, Rachel.
no
Rachel,
problem.
so what are your plans, goals, and dreams? Where is Margin going? You're
Where is
rocking
my
and
going?
rolling. What's in store for you and Margin?
Oh, I tell you, it's just been extraordinary. I've made the decision to sponsor and in the art world, so we are I won't be able to tell you everything, but in talks with a major auction house, a major art fair, a major museum that we're going to partner with, a major tonic brand that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And there's been so much goodwill, I think. I come along and I'm a female gin owner and purveyor, that there's been a lot of really generous, happenings. I can't explain why. Maybe it's the universe. There's been a lot of fabulous females that have supported me on the way. That has opened doors, and I think that has been invaluable. I cannot explain the path, that seems to open because women are helping me. And I think that's great. And so hopefully the gin with my new team, and we launch properly really 2024 January. And I'd like to see it sold in a few years, 5 years, maybe, to one of the big brands, Pernod Ricard, Diageo, something like that. But I am obviously firmly rooted in supporting the art world. I'm sponsoring Australia's Venice Biennale artists here in 2 weeks' time. I love supporting young up-and-coming artists. So something in the art world I'd love to do. I'm a collector itself anyway, but something a bit more like a residency program, something female-oriented. Lots of things up in the air at the moment. Watch this space.
Exactly. Watch the space, drink Margin, and thank you
Drink a
so
lot.
much for telling your story today, Rachel.
Thank you. It's so lovely to have this opportunity and to have me on. And I apologize for all the dramas getting me here, but it's fantastic. I finally did
Br-
this.
Brilliant to chat to you today, Rachel.
Fantastic. And I'll hopefully see you soon, Stephanie. Yeah.